It's 10 a.m. A very good morning to everyone joining us from wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to day 3 and the finale of TechSafeHer 2025, Digital Safety and Protection. My name is Miriam and I will be moderating today's session. We want to say thank you to everyone who has joined the meeting. So far, so good. For the first 2 days, we've been privileged to hear from experts in their field from DataFight. We've been privileged to hear from the Director of Regulation and Compliance at NITDA. And of course, it was indeed a rewarding session. We would like to say, as you're joining the meeting, while we get prepared for today's session, please drop your name, the state you're joining us from, probably the city. That will help us to narrow down where it is you're reaching us from. That would help us a great deal. And let's meet you. You can also use the emojis in the chat room. Simply use the heart-shaped button that says react. And of course, use an emoji to express how you're feeling today. Our facilitator is already in the meeting and she's fired up and ready to go. Today, we will be talking about trauma-informed digital safety. And we're privileged to have you here. The attendance form will be dropped in the chat box. So please ensure to look through the chat box and you will find the attendance link there. You can fill it, but I should also mention that Zoom automatically captures your attendance. So have no fear. Welcome, Dorcas. I can see you. I would also like to compliment those who joined the session rather early. It is very, very amazing. And I would just like to quickly move straight without wasting any time because today is a fast meeting. I would, with your permission, introduce our speaker for today. Her name is Tega Omogo. She's the founder and executive director, Flourish Life Center. Tega is a visionary leader. She's an author and she's an NLP practitioner, a trauma-informed counselor. She is, in fact, a certified mental health and addiction therapist and passionate advocate for holistic recovery as the ED of Flourish Life Center, which is a faith-based trauma-informed rehabilitation and wellness center for women. She restores females spiritually and psychologically through holistic support. And she also coordinates Back to Life Foundation's substance abuse prevention outreaches. She serves as a WADA ambassador with the NDLEA, that is War Against Drugs Ambassador with the NDLEA, and she holds leadership roles in global mental health and recovery networks. This final session will leave you equipped, as you already know. Today, we're going to be talking about trauma-informed care and recovery pathways, the link between trauma-informed care and digital links. And of course, she's already on the call. We're going to spotlight her shortly. Permit me to welcome officially Tega. Hi, Tega. Good morning. How are you doing? Your mic is muted.
Okay,
Your
because I
mic.
wasn't allowed to unmute earlier. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good morning. And I mean, I'm very happy to be here. Network was going to do me a number this morning, and I prayed my heart out that I will be able to because I'm at an event, but I needed to be here. I'm very grateful for the opportunity, Miriam. You know that I love you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to share today. You can try and be modest. Try.
All right, so before you proceed, I know we have a lot of development workers, we have media partners in the room, we have CSOs in the room. Please, can we welcome Tega with emojis? I mean, just give her an applause. Tega, would you want me to share your slides or would you be sharing from your end? Would you prefer I share?
I don't mind if you share.
All right, so I'm going to prop up your slides right about now. Slides coming up. Just indicate when you would like me. Please, can everyone confirm you can see the slides? Kindly confirm if you can see the slides. Can everyone see the slides?
Yes, I can.
All right, so over to you. My mic is off now.
Okay, thank you. So hi, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about gender-based violence and trauma-informed digital safety. And in all truth, we know that women are the ones who actually go through this a lot, but these days it's changing. The narrative is actually changing. We see a lot of young men also who have who are going through trauma from digital threats, right? So it's such an honor to be here. Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for the warm welcome. I really appreciate this very, very much. So the objectives today, we're going to be understanding trauma and its online manifestations, the impact and the nature, and then trauma-informed digital safety strategies and actionable steps for protection and support, very importantly. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me. So let's just, so, you know, these days, a lot of people are talking about trauma and everybody's using big words and thinking trauma is a big word, right? Some people say trauma is what happened to you, is an emotional wound and all of that. However, trauma is a response. Trauma is the emotional and physiological response to an event. So there is always an event. There is an experience that has happened. And then the response that you give to it is what trauma is. Because trauma can mean something to someone, sorry, an event can mean something to someone. It can be traumatizing for one person, but that same event will not be traumatizing to another person. So two people can be in the same environment, experience the same event, yet respond differently. So it is the response to an event or repeated events that overwhelmed a person's ability to cope. Very importantly, apart from the fact that it is just something that overwhelms, sometimes is what happens to you or what you see happen to someone else or what did not happen to you. So neglect, when someone neglects, maybe like, oh, there's something we call adverse childhood experiences, right? And then from the ages of 0 and 17, the traumatic events that happen to a person between the ages of 0 to 17, 0, yes, even in the womb, even at fetal stage, you can actually experience some sort of trauma. That's why they tell women, be very careful how their emotions, you know, are being expressed in pregnancy. I'm glad I knew this before I got pregnant because I had my son 10 years after I got married, right? And so I had got into this my career, so it was easier for me. I didn't break down at all because I noticed that I think there was a research that talked about that time. I think it was a time when the Jews and there was a Nazi thing that time. So all the children, all the Jewish children who were there at the time when that genocide was happening, were when they were born, they cried excessively. They cried for nothing. We know that children cry when they need comfort, when they need, you know, to be pacified, or when they're hungry, or when they're wet. All of these things were checked, but the children still cried. So it was linked that these children suffered some form of trauma because of the emotions and the emotional responses of their parents while they were in the womb. So we always tell mothers, take it easy, manage your emotions, right? So emotional intelligence for pregnant women is a very, very important thing that people should get into, right? It's not the event alone, but how your nervous system absorbs it. So I was in an airplane crash a few years ago. I think this was 2010, right? I wasn't married then. I was in an airplane crash, and I remember that nobody knew I was on that plane. So if I had died, they wouldn't have even known, one. Two, it was not even my name on the manifest. I used my friend's name. I was not a good girl at the time. So I used my friend's name, and then they gave me the ticket. So if that plane had really crashed, nobody would have known I was on that flight. My parents thought I was in Abuja, not knowing I was in Lagos. After that, it took me forever to get on the flight. I remember getting on the flight. I was supposed to travel, and I got on the flight, and then I started sweating. The moment they shut the door, that they were going to, like, everybody seated, we want to shut the door down. I came down, I said, oh, I'm sorry, I can't fly anymore. I was visibly shaking. My nerves were all over the place. My nervous system had absorbed the trauma that happened 2 years prior. And that is exactly how I came down from the aircraft. So now, trauma impacts how we interpret threat, how we respond to stress, how we see ourselves and how we see others, and how safe we feel in the world. Now, some people, why do you think people got that phrase Yoruba demon from? Because someone probably dated someone that was a Yoruba man and really messed with them, and the emotional and physiological response, and this is, I'm just trying to be humorous here, please. And then the person, it overwhelmed their ability to cope with the heartbreak. And then they interpreted that threat. They began to see the Yoruba men in a certain light. So this is how much trauma can be. Someone would date a Yoruba man and be like, big deal, they're amazing men. But someone who's gone through that or saw her friend go through that will be like, hey, I beg, just avoid those people. So that is just understanding trauma in simple terms. So there are different types of trauma and digital links, right? So there's acute trauma, which is a single distressing event, which is maybe like a sudden public attack or viral shaming. And then there is chronic trauma, which is repeated and ongoing. So this is continuous cyberbullying because we're using the context of digital links, right? And stalking. Then there's complex trauma, which is multiple layers of distress over time, which is maybe personal history combined with new online harassment. Now, I had a friend a long time ago who met a guy on social media. And then, I mean, they were from the same state. In fact, I got to a point that they realized that they were from the same local government. And then they wanted to now become friends. And then before you know, they started dating, right? And then she went to visit this friend. And then he actually forcefully had his way with her. Trying to be careful with my words now. And then after that, when she came in for therapy, I found out that it wasn't this situation that was the problem. It wasn't a single distressing incident, even though that can actually be. Someone can respond to it that way. But I figured that something else is up here. It was obvious that there were layers. And then I asked her, and she had been raped as a child. She had been raped by a pastor who her mother, entrusted her to. She had been raped by armed robbers one time when she was at home and they were robbed. And then she imagine now meeting someone who she thinks, oh, if when they say like in Nigeria, if this is a Nigerian audience or she just felt like this is my kinsman, right? And so what's the worst that can happen to me? My father will know his father and they will track them down and all of that. But yeah, it happened to her. So that's complex trauma, something that has happened over time, layers, and many times we suppress some of these things because of shame, right? So women with trauma histories often have heightened sensitivity when it comes to emotional threats. Online abuse triggers it faster. So when you see a person who's gone through that, if you notice how they behave, maybe you would think that it's just a little thing now. Why is it's not that deep? You now realize that there had to have been layers and layers of abuse, right? So when triggered, the nervous system may default to survival patterns. So these are the trauma responses. I'm sure we all know there's fights, there's flights, there's freeze, there's fun. So when you see a person fight, they're pushing back to gain control. They are defending themselves. You see something someone has written somewhere. The next thing they'll be answering you right back. They'll write and say, look at you. You look at your forehead. Your forehead is wide. Says your father's forehead that is wide. You just be wondering, what's going on here? Some people will say this person is so cantankerous. However, the person's trauma response is to fight back because you're trying to gain control back. So if you're going to listen to this, you're going to pick out which one is yours. I'm not asking you to tell me because chances are you'll be thinking, do I have to tell her which one it is? This is for your personal use. What is the flight response? When you retreat to avoid harm, you delete your account, so you just disappear. This happens to people. Maybe you just post on Instagram or LinkedIn, and in your mind, you're like, this post, I made a lot of sense here. Then you put it and you have one like, then when you go and check back, the insights, you just see like 700 people look through your post, but only one person. The next thing, just see they've deleted the post immediately. So those people are people who take flight. And how we do one thing is how we do everything. So if you're an avoider, you will realize that you always take flight. You just quickly take yourself out of situations, right? Then freeze. Some people just freeze. That's why sometimes you will hear a person who was molested sexually, and then you will ask them that, why did you just allow the person to do that to you? You could have taken something, hit them, done this, done that. They don't even understand why. They'll say they don't know what happened. So sometimes, even in the courts, when they take the cases to court, you hear maybe the prosecuting lawyer say, but she enjoyed it. She just stayed there. It is only in recent times when we started to understand mental health and trauma responses that we now let them know that there is a trauma response called freeze. You just feel numb. You don't respond. You shut down emotionally. You are there physically, but you can't even find a way to move yourself to do anything. The last one is fun. And this is people pleasing. You're appeasing everyone to stay safe. You're over apologizing and trying to explain yourself to attackers. When someone says, oh, this is what happened, you now be like, no, let me tell you what happened. There's no need to apologize to anybody. And this is why many times I always tell people who have gone through from some form of trauma, maybe substance use, for instance, and you're healed. I always say, don't be in a hurry to share your story, because that wound hasn't healed. And if your wound hasn't healed, people will poke at that wound, and when you poke at that wound, it will bleed again, and you will start bleeding on people. So be sure that you have gone through your therapy, whether it's sexual abuse, any form of events that has caused you to have a traumatic response. It's important that you heal. Go into therapy. Therapy works. Many people don't open themselves up. What they expecting is that the therapist is going to do all the work. I'm going to tell you what to do, but nobody knows you like you know you. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. When something happens to you, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Are you thinking you need to fight? Are you thinking you need to take flight? Are you thinking you need to freeze? Are you thinking that you need to people please for people to now like you? Over apologize. And when you begin to over apologize, you start to koto. And before you know it, you're giving off parts of yourself that you really shouldn't be giving off. And then eventually, guess what? It's like a vicious circle. You come to a point where it becomes self-loathing. These are not personality flaws, but they're automatic protective mechanisms. Your brain and your nervous system is actually trying to protect you by doing all of these things. Some people will suppress some kind of things that have happened to them, and then because the brain doesn't know how to select what you forget and what you should remember. If you forget an event, maybe a person was sexually molested or they were robbed, right? If they forget that event, guess what happens? They probably forget everything that happened in that whole month, because it will not pick and choose and say, okay, forget this one, remember this one, right? It's your brain and your nervous system trying to protect you. So what's the landscape of this? Online harms. Not on all online harm is just words. There are certain experiences that produce real psychological danger. Cyberbullying, for instance, when a person repeatedly harasses you, it creates emotional overwhelm and helplessness. And so I have this client who, I don't even know, it was someone that she sent her nude pictures to, 15-year-old actually. She met the person online. I'm not sure what she thought she was doing though. I think the person had promised her a laptop and an iPhone 15 that time when iPhone 15 first came out. And then they started chatting on WhatsApp, and he was trying to tell her where he would get what. And then somehow they got into the whole, sexual conversations, they said sexting and everything. And before you know it, he started asking her for money. Now, this is the person who said he was going to give her a MacBook and an iPhone 15. All of a sudden, he started asking her for money. Meanwhile, she had sent him nudes. They had done some kind of things. They had sexted together. And so the guy had screen, you can screen because realize that that's what he was doing. And so we need to stop it because they think you're doing drugs and they want to send you to a rehab. So we need to stop this. So let me know exactly. So somehow we got into the conversation, and that's how we found a way to get her off it. And then we found a way to get the boy. They tracked him online, and they got his phone and all of those things. However, Imagine the amount of harassment that that girl got. Sometimes we have people even just talk about how a person looks. I was watching Stella Demoko Cocos. I think she's one of these old-time journalists and a blogger. And then someone just wrote on her, she did a live video, and then people were just writing, "You're so ugly, you're so ugly." And I think that she has grown a thick skin, but even for me, that was a little bit too much. I'm like, how do you people just drop stuff on people like this? There are people that can't handle it and then they crack. The next one is trolling, when you just provoke the stress on people. We're talking about reopening wounds of humiliation or rejection. Someone will just sit down next and they just gone, and then someone is writing stuff about you that everywhere you go, everywhere you comment. So I have this friend, Real Worry Pekin. She's like my sister. So when I had my son, she put it on social media. I just realized that I just had like 100 followers in 2 seconds. I'm like, I was going on here. My sister now called me from Canada. I said, you know Real Worry Pekin? I'm like, yeah, she's my friend. What happened? They said, oh, she put a video of you that you just had a baby. I'm like, oh, no wonder. Just got followers. So after that, I felt like I needed to reciprocate by, before then I didn't used to really engage on her wall. So I just I need to reciprocate this. So every time she puts up something, I'll just go there and put up something as well. And then someone came and wrote under my comments. You are always writing on her comments, but she never acknowledges you. Are you not going to get the message and stop farming? And I said, well, at first I was going to explain and say, well, we know where we meet. Do you understand? Then after a while, I said, why do I need to explain to somebody who is, I don't know, faceless? If you're trying to find something on her, that's your business, but don't come. She came into my inbox. You don't understand. Just trying to make me feel as if, oh, she said, her words were, you don't mean anything to celebrities. Don't think that you're there. You're just trying to farm. You're just trying to farm. Meanwhile, this person was the first person who went on her social media page and put a full video of her carrying my child. So what's the problem if I do that? And even if we talk on the phone, it doesn't matter. It was going to upset me. And then I told myself, hey, I'm a therapist. And one thing I tell people is control what you can't and release what you can. Can I control this? Sorry, control what you can and release what you can't. Can I control this? No. I released it and I let it go. At first, I stopped commenting, but later I thought, what's wrong with you? Big deal. You know where you meet with her. You know how you have conversations. It's not important. And then I live my life. Doxing, of course, leaking private information. We just talked about this one now with that girl and her nudes. Sometimes we talk too much. Sometimes we put pictures of us on social media. And then people start to tell you, I know where you live. This is your estate, this place. It looks like this place and this place. Leaking private information. Revenge posting. Personal attacks. Someone damages your identity completely and causes deep shame. You see people actually just see people. I don't know how it is that a person will wake up and decide that they're going to just pick up stories that make no sense. Or sometimes they just hold on, see something about you and decide that they're going to drag a human being down. But guess what? It happens. And in the terrain that we are, bad news sells. I mean, they say there is no such thing as bad publicity, right? So once something is news, everybody's picking it up and people are losing themselves. One thing I always say to people is, how do you compare the entirety of your life with 5 minutes of someone's life with their best foot forward on social media? That is what happens when people come to therapy. And the truth is, people do come to therapy because of online harms. Then group shaming and dogpiling, nervous system experiences as social exile. Many times people just want to harass your life, and then you just want to take yourself out of a setting. Sexual harassment online, it reinforces feelings of objectification and lack of safety. And this is something that women go through quite a lot. A person will take a picture in the body that God gave to them, and someone would have talked about how their bodies are a certain way, or their bodies are this, or their bodies are that. Hey, we deal with it. Many times it is the women who deal with it. Men deal with it, but women deal with it also. I think I saw something about one of these guys on social media, and someone said, "Oh my God, if this is what you look like, so you always sit in the car, and everybody just thinks you're very handsome and very tall, so you are this short. What's wrong with him being short? Really, that's how he was created." But many times we do it, even those of us who are victims of this thing. We may not verbalize it, but many times we think it until you make the unconscious conscious. It will rule your life and you think it's fate. So when you see yourself even thinking along those lines, you should call yourself to a meeting and say, I am imperfect myself. So why would I be doing this to someone else? If every time we put ourselves in people's shoes, life will be easier. And another thing I always like to say is we judge people based on their actions, but we judge ourselves based on our intentions. The body does not separate online from real. Your nervous system reacts as if danger is physical. Next slide, please. So why are women uniquely targeted? Women are often targeted in ways that really feel intensely personal and identity-based. Now, first of all, women, they say a man is moved by what he sees and a woman is moved by what she hears. So yes, we are more emotion moved. Men are more logical. That's why sometimes you see a woman who is not so emotional. The first thing they'll say, you're thinking like a man. You're not a regular woman. Because everybody just thinks that women are wired to be emotional. But the ones throwing tantrums were suddenly crying, or the ones yelling. So when you see a woman who puts herself together, it's like, this girl, you are either a psychopath or you are just very logical, right? But these days we have a lot of women who are finding ways to manage their emotions. Thank God for emotional intelligence. Common targets include appearance. That's why we have a lot of people now who, I'm not knocking down BBL, I'm not knocking down tummy tucks, I'm not knocking down anything anybody wants to do with their appearance. However, we can see how it's everywhere. I mean, it's in fact, someone was telling me that in their state where she resides, that it's very difficult to even know a woman who is naturally built that way, because almost everybody has done some form of work, gone under the knife, right? So common targets include their appearance, morality, and character. Parenting status, you see women who, before you know it, they'll talk about how you're a single mom. They'll talk about how, so if you are a single mom, they'll say, can you hear me?
Yes,
Am
we
I
can
still
hear
on?
you. Yes, we can hear
Fantastic.
you.
You hear stuff like, oh, if you are a single parent, or you are a single mother, or you are unmarried, or you are a matured single, oh, anything that happens, no wonder you never marry. No wonder you never, this it's very fearful. Nobody's going to talk to the man like that. Nobody's going to speak to him like that. Men are constantly excused. Now look at a man and his wife passed, and she had cancer and she passed, and she had suffered with this guy. I mean, they lived in that house when the house had no doors. And then after a while, they moved in, swimming pool. They were now making money. The next day, she developed cancer and she passed. They say, within 6 months, everybody was telling the man, go and marry, go and marry, go and marry. But if it's the woman, they will be looking at you and saying, nobody told this man that, look, you've been dating this girl since. They didn't say so when he married her within 6 months. Guess what people were saying, including women? Women were saying, no, he can't manage. Oh, he needs to be taken care of. Who's going to cook for him? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? But if he was the woman, if reverse was the case, the first thing they will say is, are you sure she's not been dating this man before? So these are the things that put us in such situations. Professional credibility. A woman has to work twice. Twice. I know people who do the same work that I do, right? But if it's time to take a trip, for instance, to go and speak in another city, they would pick a male contemporary. Yes, before they will pick me, because they're like, her son is young, she has a 3-year-old. Can she really travel? Will she not be doing this? Will she not be distracted? They will just pick the man and say, his wife will take care of the children. Hey, but we are as good as each other can get. I will deliver as much as he would deliver, but most times they will take him over me because it's female. She has things that are entangling her, so she may not be able to. So these categories connect directly to self-worth, making the impact deeper, except of course the woman knows herself. Next slide, please. So what are the trauma-informed digital safety principles? Number one, prioritize emotional regulation. First of all, I think I'll start with understanding emotional awareness. Be aware. Self-awareness and emotional awareness is the basis, because until you are aware, you cannot regulate. So you must be aware to be able to regulate, to be able to manage. So you do not respond from survival mode. Every single time when something happens to you, take a pause and ask yourself, why am I reacting this way? Or what am I going to how am I going to react? You must. So if you take a pause, it is obvious that you are being responsive. But if you do it impulsively, you are reacting. So always take a pause. And it's important. And anybody who reacts is actually an emotional person. A person who responds is logical. That's why they say women are always emotional, because we're always reacting. You just touch you small. Everyone is going everywhere. However, it is important that you prioritize emotional regulation. Don't always respond from survival mode. Always take a pause. It will take nothing from you to actually take a pause every single time anything has happened to you, right? So number 3 actually, establish digital boundaries. Define and enforce clearly. Not everything must go. And the thing is, the internet doesn't forget. Okay.
All right,
So
Tega, so we lost you there for about a minute or so. So
what
if you
did
could
you
just, yes, we lost you after prioritize emotional regulation. So if you just go back and start from establish digital boundaries, the network.
okay. So establish digital boundaries, right? Not everything must go online. The internet will never ever forget. I mean, there's this tech guy now, I think he's all over the internet. The things that he had put up years and years ago before he became, as popular as he is now. Now all of those things are coming up. So you must define them. Know what you can put up. Know what you're not going to put up. Very importantly, on online interactions and content exposure. A person has really no business putting up their nudes, for instance, unless you're like me that wants to do a before and after. This is how my life was, and this is how my life is now. Because yes, I was one of those people. I was a substance use victim. That's what we call ourselves now, a person with a substance use disorder for 13 years. I did substance for 13 years. And then I went from being the most intelligent girl in my school and in my state to someone who had to drop out of uni because I was doing drugs. And then I came back because I was trying to now find a way to quickly catch up with my life. I mean, it was there. So I needed to quickly catch up with my life. And I started doing courses. I started trying to catch up on everything. And that's how I was able to get into the work that I'm doing now. So I'm going to say, unless you are a person who wants to do, this was my life before, and this is my life now, be careful on your online interactions and the contents that you expose to the world. The next one is curate your digital environment, right? Actively shape your online spaces to minimize triggers and maximize your well-being. Shape your online spaces, because you can actually find a way to put yourself in a situation where people, I mean, I remember being in one group, I don't want to mention the name, and then they put up something and then it automatically downloaded in the Telegram group, right? And so I opened the Telegram I opened my gallery, and guess what I saw? some crazy pornographic stuff like this, I almost lost my mind because I have a 3-year-old who I can leave my phone with. Do you understand? I don't encourage screen time, but I leave my phone with him. Maybe he's talking to my sister or my mom or something, and then he can see those things. The way I remove myself from there, I shift my online spaces so it minimizes triggers and maximizes my well-being. My mental health is very important, very important. And so you should prioritize yours too. So your physical safety always comes first. Assess and act accordingly. So when people like to go to, maybe you meet someone online. I mean, I know people who met their spouses online. So yes, that can happen, right? So if there's someone you meet online, people have met people online that they have struck amazing deals with. They're amazing business partners. They just watch what you're doing and they're like, oh, I like what you're doing. And assess and then act accordingly. Very importantly, because many times when people don't even, I always tell people when you go to a party, look for the fastest and the quickest exits, safest. Tell people where you are. So if you're thinking about physical safety, even in your emotional life, emotional safety is important. When you see a person go through, now they say social media is your CV. Go through your page. I know the kind of person that you are. You add me. I have over 5,000 friend requests on Facebook. I did not take them because I'll go through their pages. I'm like, nope, this one, nah, I don't want. I don't need the popularity for anything. It's not going to add to my account number. My account balance. It's not going to make my life better. I mean, really. I'm in the office. I'm in the office.
Okay, office. Okay, Kim is coming. She need the key. She's there.
Goodness. Can you hear me, please? So
Yes.
reclaim your voice and visibility. Okay, so we're talking about robust safety plans. So develop robust safety plans for serious or persistent online threats. If you know someone is threatening you, these days they can trace anybody. It's just that they don't want to. So if you know that you can block the person, block them. If they find ways to find you again, block them again. I like what Instagram does these days. They will say, block this person and any future accounts that they can open. That kind, let me be a Nigerian girl again. I'm a worry girl. Say, block you and your generation to come. Do you understand? So just find ways, safety plans for serious and persistent online threats. Block them. Nothing will happen, right? Block everybody. Block them because your mental health is important. It will shock you that there's some people that have gone off social media completely. I know someone who gave her phone out because she was harassed online so badly and she could not sleep. It now became, the person kept telling her, I'm watching you, I can see you. She didn't know who he was. I know some guy, I don't even know, I think I have a very strong feeling who that guy is. I was a travel agent at some point, and so I gave him my number because he was supposed to help me do some work. And then guess what this guy would do? I'm glad that I hope we're all adults here. Is there anybody under 20 in this room? Anybody under 20? I hope not. And this guy will call me in the middle of the night. And when he calls me in the middle of the night, he's actually making some kind of funny gestures and sounds, trying to arouse himself. Couldn't even believe it. I blocked the number. They will use another number and call me. I blocked another. I'm not joking. It became very scary. And I'm like, who is this? Hi, Tega. How are you? I'm like, hey, Agbamike. I didn't know who it was. I will block one. You don't understand. I started becoming afraid because I would think that the person actually knows me, is watching me, because you can't tell who it is. And it was crazy. I blocked it got to the point that, when you see some people say, I don't pick numbers that I don't know, right? You don't know why they don't pick numbers they don't know. So don't tell people that, how can you, what if business comes? You don't know what they've been through. really. They would rather miss out on it than go through that mental torture that someone will put them through. So many times I tell people, if you call someone, they don't pick, send them a message. So reclaim your voice and your visibility. Ensure that your presence and your contributions online do not come at the cost of your emotional safety. Very important. Oversharing is a thing. Sometimes people talk too much. And then when people come at you with the things that you have said, it now breaks you down completely. I had a friend who was doing drugs, had come out of drug use. And then I told her, she said, oh, I want to do what you do, talk about my drug use and everything. I told her, I said, I'm not sure. If you're not ready, don't do this. Be careful. She said, no, I want to do what you're doing. It really inspires. I said, heal, heal. It took me time. I stopped using for like maybe 8, 9 years, taking my time, done therapy, spiritual stuff before I started speaking about this online. I started speaking about it in church first. So I told her, I said, be careful. She said, no, she's ready. She wrote a book, she went out. When they came at her, because people will come at you, stigma is real. When they came at her, this girl, the next thing I found, she was calling me, say, I need 20K. I need 20K. As soon as she called me for 20K 3 times, I knew that she had relapsed because she couldn't take the mental load that came at her from the stigma. So ensure your presence online do not come at the cost of your emotional safety, right? Next slide, please. So build awareness. Build awareness. What online experiences trigger tension in your body? This is engaging in self-reflection. What happens? What online experiences trigger tension? Is it now? I watched the video yesterday when they were when they did that church in Kwara, where they went and the people in the church, the CSC church, and then the bandits went in there and attacked them, shot some people dead. I told myself, why? Why? You saw the caption, why? Because I haven't slept since then. So which trauma response shows up for me the most? That's why I told you earlier. So that is your self-reflection exercise. Think about it. For me, my trauma response really is fawning and then flight. But more flight than fawn. More flight. I know. Immediately I scroll past. Oh yes. Even for people that, trigger me, even my normal, not that they did anything. I just know that this person, I just scroll past very quickly. Yes, and yes, I mute a lot of people. Yes, I mute a lot of people on social media. Instagram, mute you for 30 days. Facebook, 30 days. I will not see you, hear from you, or anything. And after you do that consistently, before you know it, they will even remove the person from your feed. And yes, I block a lot of people. And yes, I unfriend a lot of people and unfollow a lot of people. My mental health is more important than having a number of people on my social media that really may not care about me. So what is one boundary I can set today to feel safe online? That is a question for you. What is the boundary? Mine, I unfollow. There's one account on Instagram that is a blog gossip. I mean, and everything that comes there is really true. But I realized that it was beginning to traumatize me. So I would just be like, oh my God, these people are not normal. And I just told myself, wait. It's my data. It's my money. It's my phone. My dear, I unfollowed all of them, blocked some of them so that I will feel safer and feel saner. So this practice actually helps you build awareness and choice, which are the foundation of emotional safety. Awareness is important. When you know, you can regulate. So let's foster environments where digital safety and well-being are prioritized for everyone. Thank you very much. And I hope we've had a good time listening. I can take questions now. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Tega. That was really very swift. You put it swiftly. I was enjoying the session so much. We're going to open the floor quickly for questions and answers. If you would wish to raise your hand, if you would wish to speak, we can do this quickly. I'll run through the chat box very quickly. We have some comments. Please, this is the one where we're going to take questions. I would love, and I liked when you highlighted on the thing about people just jumping into your space, people invading your personal space without any sort of question without any sort of consent. I personally have received, you know, this thing that happens on WhatsApp where someone can send you a view once image. I think you've seen that. And then a man decides, oh, he's just feeling like he cannot sleep, so he wants to take away my sleep. So he takes a picture of his nether regions and sends it as a view once image. This is coming from a number I know nothing about. So when you're talking about people invading your personal space, it's something that happens a lot. There are even cases of people who pick your details. People don't know how offensive it is. You just go and pick my details from somewhere and then chat me up as if me and you went to secondary school together. This is something that people don't seem to respect others' boundaries. Now, for those who have gone through such, I would like to, I really want to hear from people. For me, I'm still looking at this list: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And for me, it's a bit it's almost difficult for me to figure out where I belong. I feel I'm more of a flight freeze person. Is it possible for someone to belong to more than one response category? Is it actually
Absolutely.
possible?
Yes, that's why I said earlier that I am flight and fun, but I am more flight than fun. And it is
Okay.
because I know now, so I'm cultivating it on purpose, making sure that I am using healthier responses. So if I'm going to take off, I will come back and say, okay, I'll deal with this later. And I make it a mental note to make sure that I deal with it later. I make sure. But I know that I'll first avoid. They call it the snail anointing. Just take yourself up very quickly. Yeah. So yes, it's possible.
All right, so I'm going to stop sharing now so that we can spotlight you and we can start raising questions. I have Anthony who is ready to take a question. So we're going to spotlight you now, Tega, and Anthony can go with his question. Anthony, we're going to ask you to please go straight to the point, and I will unmute you shortly. Let's see. All right, Anthony, I think you can unmute yourself. You've been given access to unmute yourself. Please unmute. Take out your screen. Your camera is off. Please,
Please,
Anthony.
can you connect this somewhere? I beg.
Can I love
Hello?
how down to earth. Anthony, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
It's all right. Tega Omogo, thank you so very much for the splendid job you have done this morning. For 3 days now, we have been here. I am Anthony Ororo. I'm an education consultant. And I know that this is a gender-based thing with particular emphasis on the female folk. But there's something I've noticed. When it comes to harassment, online, offline, both genders, male and female, are affected. But the thing is, because of the way men are wired and the way society has come to mold men, especially in the 21st century, a man ain't supposed to cry, they say. A man isn't supposed to complain. A lot of men go through this same trauma you have just discussed, but cannot come outside and talk about it. What is your suggestion?
So now we are having more people that are having conversations for men, a lot of people that are having conversations for men. So I would say that you should look out for such organizations. There's one I know, for instance, who is called Men Cave or something like that. So yes, they are having safe spaces where men are able to talk about their vulnerabilities and feel really, like we can talk about this. They're having more and more spaces like that. So it's just for us to actively look for them and get involved in those kind of communities. And then it's easier for you to express because your brain wasn't created to support you too long.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Anthony. All right, I'm going to go to the chat room. Remember, if you have a question, just raise your hand. We'll pick on you to speak. And do we have someone speaking now?
No,
All right.
there's not.
All right, I'm just going to go to the chat box. You have a lot of people appreciating you, Tega. Thank you. I enjoyed the sessions. Please, can we get the slides? All right, I can see Anna is putting on her camera. Anna, if you have a question, please raise your hand The slides will be sent across via a Google link at the end of the session. All sessions will be shared to the participants. I should also take this opportunity to say after the completion of this exercise, you may choose to remain on the TechSafeHer platform for subsequent TechSafeHer events. You will have the early movers advantage because we will be having more events around this. Let me move back to the chat box very quickly. Anna Moses says, thank you so much again for an impactful session. I enjoyed every part of the 3 days. Queen Beatrice, this one is for you, Tega. She says, I've been traumatized since childhood. I have never talked to anyone about it, and it's affecting me. Even people around me, because most people around me complain about my attitude and my behavior. I really want to change, but I don't know how to go about it. I myself am not happy about it. Tega, this one's for you.
Okay, so you might actually have to have therapy. I'm sorry. Because at times like this, the first question I'm going to be asking you is what happened to you, right? And it could be something that happened to you or for you or did not happen to you and for you. And the truth is, if there are things that you have suppressed for long, you will start to bleed on people. You will just lose your temper suddenly. You will just be harsh to everyone. It's not because you're a bad person. It's because something has happened to you. So yes, I think you should get into therapy.
All right, so we're going to get across to you at the end of the session. Just leave a message in the DSP group, and of course, we'll follow up with you. Anna Moses, you have a question. Please unmute your mic and go ahead. Anna Moses, I've given you permission to unmute. Please unmute your mic. Go ahead.
All right. Good morning, Ma.
Morning.
I have a question relating to your teaching this morning. I work with an online media, a broadcast media. I cast and I report. And we are usually advised to post our work, our reports on all our social media platforms. So regarding what you said this morning, in fact, not you alone, even our facilitator yesterday made mention of it, which is what I've known over the years. I don't like posting online because I believe it exposes you to a lot of danger out there. So what advice do you have for me at this point in time? Because I must post my work up. I must upload my work, and probably like one of the training we attended last week in Kaduna also, we're also advised to post the training online. So at this point in time, talking about safety online, both the facilitator yesterday and yourself, you made mention of it not allowing much of your personal self to be online. So what advice do you have for some of us? How do you think we should go about it?
It's work, right? It's work. One thing I always ask people is, if it's going to hurt you, if you're good, when you see it in 5 years' time, are you going to be embarrassed by what you put up? Or is it going to hurt you, what you have put up? Right? If you think about it when you're about to post something and you just say, in 5 years, if this thing comes up, you know, go good, leave it. But this is work. And I mean, this is our CV. I have got work. I have got work. Okay, so it's written there that I am a water ambassador, right? It was from social media that I was spotlighted. I was picked. They've been following my work, seeing my posts, and then, hey. So social media does amazing. The internet is a blessing. Why did I get into this? It was because I got on the internet. I went on Instagram. I saw that women are doing stuff. So I got up and said, it's time to wake up. So the internet also helps. So if you know that it's work you're putting there, somebody can see your work and nominate you for something. Somebody can see your work and give you an opportunity, right? An old friend, a random person. There's some people that go on social media just scouting for people like you. Do you understand? So, and then another thing is, we don't post things in real time. Some people will see someone say, oh, I'm in Barbados, having some fun. The person has gone to Barbados and is back. they went last week, they are back, then that's why it's on social media. It's not that they are in Barbados right now. Do you understand? So if you want to, if it's safety, you can decide not to post in real time. You can post after you have gone and come back from the place, right? Don't post your house address, for instance. Don't put your phone number, your personal phone number, if you don't want to be called. Don't put your house address. You can take pictures inside your house. Nobody knows the house. But put in front of your estate, then be walking on your streets and be showing your house. My hand is not inside because we know how the terrain we're in. So anything, if it's something that is going to put you in a good light, and in 5 years, if you see it's not going to damage your reputation or anything, then it's okay.
Okie dokes, I like it. More questions coming in. All right, so Anna says, thank you so much for the advice. And of course, I have questions here from Simply Omonike. Simply Omonike says, may I request your contact details, ma'am? Also,
Okay.
Anna Moses is saying, may I request your contact details, ma'am? And Olori B. Mavis says, thank you so much, Tega. Please, I would love to have your contact details.
Okay, so Miriam, over to you. She'll do what she needs to do.
All right, so we need your consent. If we're to share your contact details, we need your consent. And if, okay, I'll reach out. We'll get back to you. We'll get back
Because
to
also, I am one of those people that believes that when you're on a person's platform, people should go through them to get to you. So it's not like you're going there and shopping for their people. That's why I'm saying, please go back to her.
All right, so fantastic. We will get back to you at the Mark Foundation. We'll get back to you, and you can rest assured that we have your best interest at heart. Simply Omonike says, can trauma be healed or subdued?
So we know that it's so in life, right? Everybody's going to have some form of trauma. It might be acute, it might be minor, it might be complex. Do you understand? It doesn't have to be, some people know how to manage it. However, it's like saying that you don't want to go through life because life will happen. Life was designed to throw us lemons, right? So there is a way now. I felt like I was neglected by my mom. I'm a last child of 8. My mom left for the UK when I was 5. And I really felt like my mom really neglected me. I'm like, this woman, you say you wanted a girl to be your last child. I came after 5 years of having one child. Then you now leave me and go to the UK. I felt abandoned by this woman. And I didn't realize how much I was loathing her until after she had passed. And after she had passed, I had to now find a way to now go and start going through, therapy. And then I realized that is where it stemmed from. My people pleasing, my wanting to be accepted, my giving into self-peer pressure and all of that. I realized that's where it came from. So I needed to go through that. Now I talk about it. I promise you, the situation happened, but it doesn't hurt me as much as it did. So yes, it can be healed. And healing is not linear. Don't think that, we start therapy today, in 4 sessions, you're good. Listen, it will go up, it will come down, round and round and round, according to my son, up, down, round and round, left and right. Then one day, just tell yourself, okay, we'll be all right. Let's just keep using the strategies. Let's use this skill. Let's use this technique. Before you know it, it's easier to manage the things that have happened. One of the things that happens with us the most is the inner child trauma. Many of us go through stuff that has broken our inner child. So when you and maybe something happens, right? The response that you give is the age you were when the trauma happened. I have a client, 34-year-old man, doing drugs, but every time he gets into trouble, guess what he's saying? I just want to see my mama. I want to see my mama. The first time I heard that thing, I said, oh, mommy wound. So we had a conversation, and then I found out his mother had remarried. The mother remarried when he was 7. And when she remarried when he was 7, she really wanted that marriage to work. So she put a lot of effort in the marriage working. And so she neglected him, took him to stay with her mom, right? That pain, I want to see my mama. I want to see my mama at 7. He still does it at 34. That's where the wound happened. So when he gets into any traumatic situation and his nervous system responds, he's responding to see his mother. So yes, you can heal.
Wow. For that gentleman who you just highlighted, I would just say his wife has, I know, simply Monica, I literally concur with what you're saying. Like, wow, I feel like his wife has a lot of work to do in that regard because she has to be his mama and his wife. I have a comment here
That
for
relationship back, by the way, so it'll be good.
All right, still talking about TFGBV, tech facilitated gender-based violence. Amadu Blessing Halima says, my second question is, how do I respond to a comment or someone bringing down my brand on social media? And I think I understand what you mean. Sometimes the social media applications, for no reason at all, freeze your account or disable your account. If you're someone who's generated or garnered up to maybe thousands of followers and suddenly they bring down your account, it can be really traumatizing. So Amadu Blessing is saying, how do I respond? I mean, there are different responses. You talked to us about fight, flight, fawn. I even heard about these ones for the first time today, freeze and fawn. I didn't know, I just knew fight or flight before. But freeze and fawn, those are new to me. So how would you respond to her?
So, first of all, I at one time I was going to speak at one event on trauma, and then they did a sponsored ad, and they put the pictures, and people were writing, "Oh, we can't wait to hear from you. We love to hear you speak." Yada yada yada, and I was feeling, oh, nice, oh, anticipation. I saw one comment that said, this Tiger has nothing good that will come out of her mouth. She was such a useless person, and she cannot even something. In a sponsored ad, I looked at it. My heart wanted to come out of my chest. But then I reminded myself that this person knew me as the drug user. This person knew me as the bad girl, the party girl. That's who the person knew. You don't know me now. But it took for me to pause. I was going to delete it and keep my record squeaky clean. Then I told myself, no. Guess what? People had seen it. Somebody now sent me a message and said, I want to see how you respond to this. Meanwhile, I had already responded. I wrote, oh, I'm so sorry that you experienced me that way. I'm no more like that. That person is dead. This person is new. And if I offended you at that time, I really want to say, I am sorry. I am sorry. Please forgive. And then that was it. Guess what? It was a fake account. We don't even know who the person is. So I left it alone. Sorry, someone needs to get something behind me. So I left it alone. But if you see that someone is doing that to you, very importantly, right? If you can ignore them, if you can deal with it, if you can deal with it, deal with it. If you can deal with it, ask the person, what's going on? What did I do? Come in. What did I do? How did I do? Yes. What did I do? How did I offend you? I apologize for what I did. And if the person is just being malicious, listen, block the person, delete the person, or if you feel it's going to really mess with your brand, delete the person. If you think you want to use that as a learning curve, leave it there. Guess what? That thing that I did, that I left it there, people now kept writing underneath. You are so emotionally intelligent. My dear, that was not the original thing I wanted to do. The original thing was to tell the person, really, someone is going to talk about something impactful. And even you, I'm sure you're going to trauma yourself. That's why you're writing this rubbish. But I remembered that there's an online presence and people are watching how you respond to it. So what is your response going to be? Your response determines whether that person will bring your brand down or not. Nothing means anything except the meaning that you give to it, right? So understand the meaning that you want to give to it. Are you going to look at this and say, I will, let it be there. I may have done something, or look at how you do something differently. Nothing means anything except the meaning that you give to it. People have done this and they have fought and killed themselves. If you do this to my son will say high five. But for some people, they say waka, uwana, wala. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nothing means anything except the meaning that you give to it. And guess what? Even jollof rice that everybody loves, not everybody loves it. So not everybody is going to love you. But if they are bringing your brand down, that is war, right? At that time, respond in a way that people would help you fight the person. Don't respond in a way that people will believe what the person is trying to do to you. It's strategic. You have to think in a strategic manner. If you attack the person, they will say, oh, she probably has something to hide, or she's probably doing something. But if you answer them in an emotional intelligence way, people will not be calling you a hero. I shouldn't be saying things like this in this class, because now you understand how my mind works. People will not be calling you a hero. Oh my God, oh my God. Really, what you just did was set the person up. Pause.
Tega. As in, you don't set person up for this call. Oh. All right, so you're talking about how to respond. So we have a couple of questions still in the chat box. And of course, first of all, we want to really, please, can we use emojis and give Tega some love? Because like she rightly mentioned, she's at an event and you can see that she's doing her best to just give us the best of herself, regardless of her constraints. I think we can keep that love coming. And of course, if you've learned anything on this session, let's just give her as much love as we can. She totally deserves it. I have dark-skinned damsel. Dark-skinned damsel. First of all, let me compliment how confident you are by using the name dark-skinned damsel. I'm a gender
I love
person.
it too,
So
yes.
just keep it up, own it. She says, I have an issue associating myself with people because I was traumatized by a close friend. Please, how do I go about it? That's from dark-skinned damsel. And simply on Monica, all right, so let's answer dark skin damsel. I don't know if you can combine both responses. Simply Omonike says, what would you say to a once jovial and social person who dissociates from people now? Is going through it? Would you say, oh, I beg your pardon, would you say a once jovial person who dissociates from people now is going through trauma? Would you describe that as trauma? So the first question from dark skinned damsel, I go over it again. She has an issue associating herself with people because of trauma caused by a close friend. And would you say someone who dissociates from people, the person is not a social butterfly, is traumatized?
Okay, so the first one, dark skin damsel. I really love that name too. I love it. Please don't ever touch your skin. Dark skin, leave it like that. So a person did you dirty. Do you believe that you may have done someone dirty? 1, 2. We always, I'm not making excuses for because I know a person did, right? But we always judge people based on their actions and judge ourselves based on our intentions. The person may not have meant it. Have a seat with the person. And even if you don't, there is a Yoruba proverb that says, if you close your eyes because one person has hurt you, 1,000 good people will pass and you will not see them either. So we will keep trying, but there will now be boundaries. When you meet a new person, you will know where you were beaten from. Slap me once, shame on you, or slap me twice, shame on me. If someone has done something to you and you allow another person to do the same thing, you are going to keep going through this cycle until you learn the lesson that the universe is trying to bring to you. So what is the lesson that you have learned from that incident with that your friend? Keep it in your back pocket. When you have a new friend, right? Make sure that you have your boundaries. Test waters. Test waters. Don't give off what you give. Now, this is why they always tell us to reflect. Something has happened to you. What was your own part in this suffering? What did you do that you shouldn't have done? I'm not attacking you, but we always have a part in our suffering. I talked too much. I gave too much information. I let her in too quickly. I gave her my keys. I did this, I did that. The next friendship you get from that, all of those things, just withdraw. Withdraw some things. Give 10%. Watch the step. If you see the person deserves it, because everyone must earn our friendship and our presence. Everyone, except your family. Your family is the only one that will not earn it. Because even I'm a person of faith, the Bible says, forgive a person 70 times, 7 times in a day. It's only your family member that you are so close to, that we annoy you 490 times in one day. So your family is the only one that you cannot keep saying bound. I mean, even though these days, I always tell people, even with family, put some boundaries if you know what's good for you. But with friendships, with friends, where you left off with the other person, try out this person, because there are good friends everywhere. Somebody wants to be your good friend, dark-skinned damsel. Somebody really, really likes you. But guess what? You have not learned the lesson from the last place where you were hurt. The universe will keep bringing it until you learn the lesson. So now reflect. What did you do? What shouldn't you have done? What was your part in that situation, in that suffering? Because there are many good people everywhere. Many good people, right? So don't shut yourself out. Don't shut yourself out of getting a fantastic relationship, because I'm sure there's someone who would really want to stay friends with you and stay friends with you forever. So the other one, you said, would I say someone who was social and jovial? Yes, something may have happened, right? That has made the person withdraw. Something may have happened. It may be that the person found that, oh, being jovial has not paid them. Maybe dark-skinned damsel was one of those now. Just be like, oh, no, I'm just going to be in my space. Everybody just day your day, make I day my day, and all those kind of things. So it's possible. But how deep it is, how acute it is, how complex it is, or how chronic it is something, therapy can only help with, right? So you have an experience to share. I lost my elder sister and her phone was misplaced same day she passed. The person that found it refused to return it and instead started using her social media accounts, using her name and page to post his own content. Hurts you every time you come across it. Report the person. Report the account. You have the right to report it. Keep getting people to report it. That is evil. As far as I'm concerned, that is wicked, because you're not, well, he may not even realize that the person has passed. That's one thing. And he may not even realize the person has passed. But even if he realizes the person has passed, this person deserves to be reported, because you just feel violated on every side. This just feels like, someone has stripped you or stripped your sister. And I'm sorry that this happened to you. I'm sorry, but we can report it. You can make people massively report that account and then it can be shut down. I apologize.
Oh, thank you so much, Tega. I have a question. Now, this is a personal question. I think for someone who has experienced, like, you talked about targeted, that's like doxing, cyberbullying, stalking, when someone is targeting intentionally, dogpiling, just trying to malign your name. How does one recover? Because, and I want to point out at this point that sometimes tech-facilitated gender-based violence is not just limited to sexual appearance and other things. In cases where people have gone through a health challenge, for instance, and the person's appearance, you highlighted appearance as one of the things that cause women to be targeted. I want to reflect back to the time when Real Worry Pikin had her surgery, or the time when Mercy Johnson, there was a time the celebrity Mercy Johnson was losing a lot of weight on social media. And there were questions around, is she well? Is she not well? And people just decided to implant their emotions and their feelings without considering that there's a human being behind this account upon her. In situations like that, you had pointed out that people will want to flee, which is the flight. You just want to disappear. How does a person heal from that degree of trauma? And yes, we're wrapping up shortly. How does a person heal from that degree of trauma and return back to social media to have a healthy social media engagement? If you've been a victim of shaming, stalking, cyberbullying, doxing, you name it, on social media, and you found yourself in the retreat, you just took to flight. I just don't want to see anyone. Depression took over, mental health was traumatized. How does the person, you've talked about your personal experience, which is really inspiring. How does the person come out of that and then be bold enough to take that first step and trust social media again and engage safely on social media, knowing that coming back does not mean you're not going to meet those same people, but the person is better prepared to handle those people?
Okay, so first, when you see people coming at you, You need to, have you ever heard them call some people keypad warriors? Just tell yourself that this one is faceless. It's very faceless. The people who hurt you the most are the ones who you feel that you know. There's a question I always ask. Is it going to matter in 5 years? If it's not going to be a matter in 5 years, don't waste 5 minutes thinking about it. But many times we look at it as if, no, you can, it's easier said than done. When you sit with a person, that's why they say therapy is good. You put things into perspective. Now let us have a cost-benefit analysis. This is what it costs you. This is what is going to benefit you. Look, life is going, I mean, roses have thorns. Do you understand? So how are we going to now have coping strategies towards this? Take a break from social media. Evaluate it. Is this thing that is said, is it true? No. Is it something you can do anything about? No. Like I said, control what you can and release what you can't. If you cannot control the narrative, Real Worry Pikin was really harassed about that thing, but she had a goal. This is why we always tell people, what is your why? Why are you here? If your why is not compelling enough, every wind will blow you out of social media. So tell yourself, this is my why. It will hurt, it will sting, but this is why we always have people where we can bounce off ideas with, have accountability, have support systems. When your support system is solid, listen, they will tell you, take a break, leave it. Because these people are faceless. Many of them are actually really faceless. I know that the time when they were talking about obedience and everything, it got to a point that some people were actually going to physically meet people and say, I saw what you wrote on social media that day about Peter Obi. Just look, I'm watching you. I'm like, guy, calm down. Peter Obi doesn't even know you. Do you understand? So when people bring things, people can be fanatical like that. But when you bring things into perspective and say, this is the truth, and this is the fact, and this is the cost of me leaving social media for now, and you deal with it and you come back, you will find ways to just cope in your mind and tell yourself they're keypad warriors. It's okay. They will throw stones at me. But if I respond to every stone that's thrown at me, I will not go to where I'm going. So where am I going? What is your why? Why am I on social media? So after that girl wrote what she wanted to write about me, I was going to shrink. I told myself, I said, what's going on? Let's turn this thing on her, I beg. People started looking for the accounts on my behalf. Then they were now the ones telling me, oh no, it's a fake account. Like, it's okay. Because people will do that. People just hurt people, right? So also, you need to also look at them like, this person is hurting. I'm not the reason for the pain that is going on. You have life pain. I'm not the reason for your life pain. I have my own kind of life pain. Paracetamol is sorting my own. Your own might be ibuprofen. Your own might be cafegos. All of us have life pain, right? But you must understand that people take out their frustrations on people. They project on other people. But if you always listen to everything, if you listen to every dog that barks at you, you will never get to where you're going to. So putting things in perspective, and guess what? Clarity, rights. I always tell people, don't write. For some women, there are men on the call, so you will not understand what I'm about to say. For some women, I just tell them, when it push has come to the shove, lock the door, remove the wig, take off your bra, be uninhibited, and start writing. Clarity, it will flow. Why am I doing this? Why is this happening? What do I need to gain? If I don't really need to be on social media, let me get on social media. But if I need social media for my work, I have to be here. So how am I going to cope with trolls or people that are bullying me? I'm going to have to shut them down. It won't matter in 5 years. If I have 5 losses and I have 10 wins, I'm good. You must talk to yourself. Your self-talk is the one that marks your soul much more than what anybody says. If someone says you're stupid, if you agree with them, then you'll start feeling like you're stupid. But someone says you're stupid, really? That's not true. Next, please.
The energy. All right, that wraps up our session. Please let's throw those emojis out for Tega. It has been amazing. As in, yes, you have been such a love. What a way to wrap up TechSafeHer this 3-day workshop. Tega, you made it all worth it. If you did enjoy the session, just be humble, throw out those emojis. It costs nothing. Google gave it to us free, even though your data is paying for it. Let's roll it out for free. Let's show that love to Tega. Tega, you were amazing. It was brilliant to have you. It was brilliant to have you. As you can see, many people throwing out the love, throwing out the love. If you saw the attendance sheet, please ensure, yes, keep the emojis coming till we release her. We've taken you away from today's session, but I hope you mark the attendance at that event before coming to this. Oh, there's a question. Someone says there's still a question. Can you still take one more question?
Yeah, I can take
one more question. Chris, I'm not seeing the question. I'm not seeing the question. Blessing says, thank you. You're amazing and it was impactful. I'm looking for that question. Please, if you have that question, if you're the one with the question, please raise your hand so we can find you very swiftly. We need to release Tega latest by 11:30. All right, I see the question. Therapy is not free. Therapy is not free. How will people who are not financially capable have access to therapy? Therapy is not free. How will people who are not financially capable have access to therapy? Are there free therapy sessions, online accounts, personnel, and so on? What is your recommendation first?
So I have this foundation that I do therapy with, and this is the 3rd year running. They do therapy for women for free. The first year we did for 30 women for free. Someone is paying us to do the therapy. They just say, take the money, just get random women that need it. They don't even, they are just picking based on what is going on. This is my 3rd year running. This is my 3rd year running, yes. So this year I did 5 women for 10 weeks. Last year I did 5 women for 10 weeks. The upper year I did 10 women for 6 weeks. So yes, 10 weeks, 5 women, back to back for 10 weeks. There are people that do stuff like that. So for instance, the next time, because I know there's a new cohort, right? I'm not sure when it's going to be, but next time there is, I share it on my social media page, and I think I'm going to send it to the Mark Foundation as well. So that when, if there's anybody who would like to benefit from that, yes, the person can just jump on it as well. Yeah, but we've just rounded up one in November. So I think the next set will probably be in March. I would drop it with the Mark Foundation. That means you have to stick with her, sorry.
Thank you so much, Tegan. Thank you so much for the privilege. Thank you, everybody. It has been truly an amazing session. As we said, this brings us to the end of TechSafeHer 2025. It's been 3 days. We've been impacted. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the call. Remember to use the hashtags. We'd love for you to at least appreciate us. It's been a free session. And we'll just say, if you're going on your social media, use the hashtag TechSafeHer 2025. That is Tech, TechSafeHer, Tech Safe Her for girls. Ensure that your voice is heard. Also use the hashtag TheMag Foundation. You can follow us on all our social media whenever we have engagement and there are opportunities. We're certain to put it out. If you're on the WhatsApp group, the DSP group or the community, please join. If you've not joined our community, please join our community. This month, next month, it's Women's Month, Gender-Based Violence, GBV. There's a 16 days of activism coming up, and of course, there will be more engagement. Thank you for making out the time. We will be opening up the feedback session shortly after we wrap up this session. Please do well, be kind to us by leaving your feedback about this program. Please ensure you use the hashtags. Help us to do better so that when we call for the next session, we can send it out to those on the platforms first and you have the early movers advantage. To the entire team, we want to say a big thank you. It's been a privilege having all of you here joining us. We're going to release you now to get back to your days and activities. Please follow us on our social media. And of course, personally for me, I would like to say thank you. Thank you to all our partners. Thank you to DataFight. Thank you to the acting director for regional regulation and compliance for NITA. And thank you so much to Queen Tega. Of course, she was dubbed Queen Tega by one of the people on this call. Say, Queen Tega, you are amazing. That is from Olori B. Mavis. She said, Queen Tega, take your roses. You are a powerhouse. We really appreciate this. So thank you to everybody who took the time out to be here for the 3 days. Please remember to fill the attendance. Let's mark your attendance. Certificates will be rolled out shortly in the days to come. And as we said, we will also be rolling out the content via a Google link. Thank you so much, everyone. I am Miriam Badibo. It's been a privilege, and enjoy the rest of